Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back with the new daily races on Gran Turismo Sport, and yeah, we've got another new track that I don't think has ever been used as a daily race on Gran Turismo. We've had it in FIA before, but as far as I remember, this track has never come out as a daily race track. So we've got it in Group 3, we're starting from the back of the grid, and you can see a lot of other people are on their second accounts without starting lap times, because also they are probably trying to learn this track, because I think there's a few people that have grasped it quite quick, and there's a lot of people that are struggling, and they're going to be struggling for a while. So get ready for a lot of people to make mistakes in these races, and people to not really know their braking zones and stuff like that. But we're going to start this race starting from P13. Let's see what we can do in this daily race C. We're driving the Nissan GTR. I actually think the Nissan GTR is the best car in terms of race pace. We saw in our practice stream that we did last night trying to learn this track, one driver absolutely destroying it in the GTR. Now you can use the Audi R8, the Lamborghini, there is a few cars. As we go for a move on the other Nissan GTR in this lobby, you can see we're going to go down the left hand side. You can see that Pepe is behind us in the Supra, another car worth using here. He's looking to follow us through, but he brakes early. He's going to undercut the Nissan GTR, who goes in very deep there. Luckily we managed to get around the outside of the GTR, but Pepe there manages to get ahead and also go up the RS01 on the inside. We see the gap there still open. We decide to put that GTR up the inside, a lot more power than the RS01, so not a very hard move really, it's just all down to power. But as we come into the braking zone, the RS01 goes for one of them clumsy half-baked moves, not a very clean move at all. He just puts his front end in there and clips us. Luckily we managed to get through here with single, Rimmer on his second account there, Pleb 11, we both get through there clean wide. Another driver hits that barrier. You have to be very cautious of that barrier this week. You run too far wide out going onto the bridge there, and your race will be almost over instantly as you smash into a metal barrier. So Rimmer makes a move up on the inside. We decided to kind of let him go up the inside, try and get a better exit here. Didn't really work. We're going to try and brake late and maybe go for a bit of an undercut here. But again, the Nissan GTR very sketchy on the power. I've got to try and get used to this car. But I think this is the car probably that by the end of the week you'll find is doing probably some of the best race pace. So coming through here, very tricky corner to get right and get on the power. We do that reasonably well. You can see up a lot of cars up ahead, not really getting that corner done properly. We're going to go to the right hand side. It's going to be a free wide as we power our way up in the Nissan GTR. Obviously the strength of the Nissan GTR is the straight line speed, so we're going to try and hang it around the outside here now, braking as late as we can, holding it in third gear, then into fourth gear, and we try and get back to the apex. Hit the Mercedes goes off to God knows where, and now we're going to have a free wide situation with Pepe and Rimmer in front of us there. So we managed to get through there. Pepe gets forced behind us there. He's now got the inside slightly though, so we're going to have to leave him a bit of space there on the inside. And as we come through here, Pepe kind of lag punts Single or Rimmer, just absolutely rammed him off the track. I don't think it was deliberate. It could have been a bit of lag, because if you look at his connection, it seems to be faltering a bit. But yeah, he completely wipes out Rimmer there in that corner. But we managed to take the inside there on Pepe, and we're now up to P9. So quite a hectic start to this race. You're going to see a lot of people making mistakes. It's a nice wide track. There's opportunities to overtake. I think this week here is going to be an enjoyable one by the end of the week, when everyone's really picking up pace on it and really starting to understand the track. But yeah, it's going to be a very long and hard learning process, this track, because it's not really a short track. It's a 3-minute lap. That's quite a long lap to really find the maximum on. As the driver in front there gets a little bit loose, that loses us a bit of momentum. Pepe gives us a bit of a bump draft. We're going to go down to the left hand side to see if we can go on the inside. We can't do that, so we go back to the right hand side. Pepe on our outside. We get clipped by the Porsche just briefly there, just a little tap, and Pepe obviously gets clipped also as the Porsche goes too deep into the corner, hits that wall, and we managed to take that position, so up into PA. So yeah, most tracks normally are about 1:20 to 1:30. This is over double that distance, and that is why this track is going to be difficult to learn, because like I say, we've never really had it before, so it's going to be a really long learning process. Now, people that have picked it up really quick and got used to it, that is great. They're going to be flying on it. But I think a good time trial session here should be able to find myself a bit of pace. I hopefully will get an hour, jump on time trial and try and get my pace a little bit better, and then hopefully race pace will come from that, because once you start understanding where to push the time in time trial, you'll start finding that pace in the race. As we go through here, we've got a car in the barrier there. That's another corner, very easy to brake late on that corner, so make sure you get your braking right. We're going to go through a quick track guide on this race on our final lap, just to give you a few pointers. There's another car on the power too early into the barrier, and as I was saying, yeah, we're going to try and give you a few pointers where you can try and, you know, do a reasonable lap. Like I say, I'm still learning this track just as much as most other people as we go for a move on the Supra round the outside. We're going to be able to probably out drag him up this hill now and put ourselves up to P5. So nice easy move. Nissan GTR, very good car for overtaking. It's got the power to do it. So we come to this very tricky left hand corner, hold in third, fourth gear through here, try and keep the car very tight to the apex and get on the power as early as you can. You see the Supra behind us washes off the front end and just runs wide there. Luckily manages to get back on the track, but now we're up to P5. So skip a little bit further ahead, still in P5, and we're going to go over the line to start lap 3, and we're catching up to P4 now. You can see the gap getting closer and closer. Obviously, he's not in the fastest car in the straight. He's in the RCZ, which is going to be a little bit weak on the straight line. So on the straights, we're going to gain on him, especially in the slipstream. You can see as soon as we're in that slipstream, we're really gaining on him on the straights. And then into this very tricky right-hand corner. This is the corner that I'm struggling with. I need to get this corner sorted. Braking around the 100 board there, trying to get the car to the apex and on the throttle as early as possible. And then powering your way through this long left-hand corner that never seems to end. Just a little lift off the throttle normally helps through here. I just give it a little lift off throttle, back on the throttle, and then let the car go wide and then tuck into the apex for the last part here so that you can get the car straightened up for the braking zone. So yeah, he's gone a little bit tight through there. We're going to try and go a little bit wide and then cut back on him here on the power nice and early in the GTR, and now we just got to get that slipstream and see if we can go for a move on him through here. So we're going to go try and do a fake on him. He sees that one. We're going to go back to the left, and now we're just going to hold the left hand side and see if he brakes a little bit later through here. So he brakes quite late there. We're going to see if we can go for the undercut here. The only thing with the GTR is it's a little bit loose in these corners when it's a bit like unbalanced the car. So it's very difficult to get them moves on, whereas like the RCZ and the Porsche are very stable in them type of corners. So powering out of here, I think now if we can get a good exit from this corner, we should be able to out drag him at some point. So let's see if we can get a solid exit from this corner. He takes a lot of speed through there. We take as much speed as we can. He's gone to the left, but just watch the difference in straight line speed as we go up this hill. There's not really much that RCZ can do to defend against the Nissan GTR. So yeah, nice comfortable move up the inside and up into P4. So now we've just got to try and keep it tight to the apex again, staying in fourth gear, third gear, and keep it tight to the apex. And yeah, we've managed to do that quite nice. Hold the position, and now we can see P2 and P3 in this race. This really does show you how much people are struggling at this combination, because I am awful at this track. I'd like to say we only tried to learn this last night, and probably a good job that we did, just so that we got the basics of the track learned, because I know where I'm going now, but we don't really know how to push the car around this track yet. It's a very tricky one. I'm sure we'll find speed by the end of the week, and I'm looking forward to really trying to find that speed, because it's going to be a challenge. So you can see we've managed to catch up to the front two here, P2 and P3. P1 Thunders is gone. He's flying around this track. There's no way we're catching him up. And as we come through here, the Evo in front of us, that's going to be pretty easy pickings as he goes through the exit a little bit too slow. So yeah, even though he's got the slipstream still, that isn't going to be able to defend him against the Nissan GTR. So again, into the braking, he brakes a little bit late there. We're okay. We hold the tight line, and we manage to make that move up into the podium position. So now, one more car to go until we can try and get ourselves in P2, and then that's pretty much all we can do in this race, because P1 Thunders, I think he's driving the Lamborghini, which again, the Lamborghini, cars like Lamborghini, Audi, I reckon the Ferrari might be alright here if you can really get used to it. But yeah, they're all going to be strong. I think the Aston Martin might be alright. Corvette will probably be reasonable. The GTR, I think, is going to be the best car if you can get used to it in terms of overall speed, because of the way it handles and with the overtaking ability. So yeah, following the Corvette now, we go a little bit deep into that corner. Again, trying to get the left-hand tyres onto the Astro just as we go through the corner, and now powering our way into the next braking zone. Going over the bridge, can we see if we can find a way to get past this Corvette? This is going to be a bit of a harder car to overtake, obviously. With the power of the Corvette, it's got a lot more torque on it, so it's going to be a bit trickier, but we go through here nice and smooth, trying to keep it as smooth as we can in the GTR. Obviously, when you're not in the dirty area, it's not so bad for there, but as soon as you're in another car's slipstream, it does become a little bit trickier in the GTR. So yeah, trying to be cautious on the power there, managing to do that without losing too much time there. And now again into this very tricky corner. Now I reckon there's a lot of time to be gained if you really get that cut perfect and floor it out of the corner. So that is something I'm sure as we progress through the week we'll all start getting used to and start understanding where we can, how much we can cut some of these corners. and take a little bit of extra time out of the lap. So working our way up the hill, you can see we're on a reasonable lap here, nothing special, but again, we haven't had a completely clean lap yet, and we're on lap 4. So we come through here, got a nice run on him there, much better exit speed, so we've got the inside, and that is up to P2. So now we've just got to try and break that slipstream, try and keep it smooth through here, and again, this is where you join the C version of the track. And this is the layout that we did obviously for the daily race in Group 1 that was quite fun. So powering our way through the corner and working our way now into the next braking zone, where we're going to use probably about just before the 100 board on the right hand side, you'll see there, and then try and keep it nice and tight to this apex. And you see we've already started to pull away from him a bit there with 4 attempts. Can we manage to break the slipstream as we come through this left hand corner? You can see he's made a mistake, and that is the slipstream done. So now we're going to go into a very quick and very simple track guide. Obviously, I'm not going to go too in depth because I personally still am not fully up to speed here. So we're going to try and help you out as much as we can. So braking into turn 1, look for the 100 board above our head there. Very easy braking reference, braking just short of that or on that 100 board, and down into 3rd gear. You can see I probably should have stayed in 4th gear and tried to carry a bit more speed. You can see how much space, we still had a lot of space left on the exit, so there's a lot of time to be gained on that corner. Another 2-3 attempts there at least. Now looking into the next braking zone, the 100 board again above us there. We're going to use that as a reference, braking just short of the 100 board, and again try and get the car into this apex and on the throttle as early as possible. One thing you will learn at this track is all about exit speed. Really does matter at this track. So flat out now all the way through here, and what you're going to do is I just give it a little lift off the throttle as we go through here at the moment. Now there's probably better ways of doing this, but this is the safest way at the moment. Little lift off the throttle, and then just keep playing with that throttle every now and then. You try and get the car to get on that curb slightly on the right hand side, so you can square it off here and be on the left hand side of the track for where you're braking just before the 100 board. Now you probably can brake it a little bit later than what I have done there, but it's a very tricky chicane. You brake too late and you run wide and you lose a lot of time. Try and get the left hand tyre on the green Astro also, coming over the bridge there to give you the exit speed. Now we're going to brake just short of the chevrons in the track there. You can see the triangles in the track. I brake a little bit too early. I think I can brake a little bit, probably dead on them triangles, and then hold 3rd gear through here on the power and carry the speed now all the way to the next braking zone, which we're braking just between the 100 and the 50 board on the right hand side, pretty much in the middle. You can see the braking going in there, and again you want to try and square the car, so try and take a wider line than I actually do here, because you want to get on the power as early as you can. You can see that little bit of rear movement there. That's because we took too much turning angle in. Now braking just as your left hand tyre hits the curb on the left hand side, we're going to put a tiny bit of braking. We're not going to go heavy on the brakes, just a little bit of braking through there, and then carry the speed on the exit in 4th gear, working your way up this hill now into the next braking zone, which again I actually look for the curb on the right hand side where that green Astra is. You can brake quite close to that, but I'm being very cautious again, braking nice and early down to 4th gear, holding it in 4th gear, and try and keep it as close to this apex as possible, and then power your way using the full width of the track, and then braking just after the curb starts. You see a little bit further on in the curb starts on the right side. Try and get the car into this apex as well as you can. Early upshifting to 4th gear can help here, and power your way through here, and then be careful you don't run too far to the left hand side. You can see we're braking just before the end of the curb on the right hand side there, so starting to put the braking in, and just be cautious you don't go off into that gravel on the left hand side. Try and let the car get to the apex, and then on the throttle as early as you can, powering your way again into the next braking zone, which we're going to use the 100 board again. Braking just short of the 100 board. It's a little bit better to brake short, I think, and get a better exit speed and entry into this corner. So you see into the apex on the throttle earlier, and then power your way through to the next braking zone, which we're going to use the gap between the last shadow of trees. There's a little gap there, which I use as a reference, down to 3rd gear, and power your way again through this corner, and then into this next tricky little section. This is a section where I think there's a lot of time to be gained. I brake just at the start of the green Astro, and I know I can brake later, but I'm being ultra cautious here. At the start of the green Astro, down to 3rd gear, try and get the car into the apex as close as you can, close to the barrier as possible, and then again for this corner, using that red bit of barrier on the left hand side is your brake reference. That's an ideal spot to use. Down to 3rd gear, try and get the car into the apex again. You see losing another 2 or 3 attempts there, so just alone on this lap I can see I've lost well over a second just on mistakes that I've made. Now into the final corner, and again we're going to use that 100 board again. Very handy, these 100 boards at this track. And again down to 4th gear, and try and get your left hand tyre to actually go over the green Astro. You see down to 3rd gear as well, back up to 4th gear on the exit, use the full width of the track, and you can actually get your car half over that green Astro if you do it perfectly. We didn't do it amazingly well there, but we did it reasonable. And yeah, there's definitely well over a second to come off that lap, and yeah, a P2 in the race. So not too bad, all things considering. We did quite well to keep it consistent and keep it on the track. A lot of people are going to be making mistakes here this week, so if you can keep it consistent, you're probably going to gain positions in Daily Race C. So let's move on to Daily Race A, and it's the return of the Mazda touring car race at the Kyoto Miyabi track. One of my favourite combinations, absolute hectic chaos, fun. I like this race. It's always enjoyable. Sometimes it's aggressive and sometimes it's a disaster, but sometimes some of the racing was absolutely brilliant here in the past. So I'm looking forward to this one during this week. So we're starting this race from the back of the grid. Let's see if we can make any progress in this race. Sometimes these races go for you, sometimes they go against you. So yeah, it's one of them races where you've got to accept that a lot of chaos is going to kick off probably. So into this braking zone, this is where a lot of the chaos tends to kick off. We're going to go down the inside. We brake quite early there. We give them the space just in case it all kicks off, which it is already starting to kick off a little bit there. We see a lot of cars grouping together, 3 wide, cars getting punted off there. I think the French driver, Dinitro, I think it is there, pushed the white car through onto the grass a little bit, and also the Spanish driver goes wide and hits into the wall somehow. I'm not sure how that all kicked off, but yeah, we gained 2 places there, and then through this long sweeping right hand corner where you really want to keep it close to the curb. Once you're used to this combination, it's not as hard as you think, but yeah, struggling at the moment. We didn't do any warm-up laps, we just went straight into this race. So going through here, we're going to have to give the driver a space on the outside because I wasn't sure where he was. We run wide, obviously doing that, and now we've got a little bit of dirty tyres, so we make sure we brake a little bit early, just so we don't run wide through here. We've losing a little bit of pace to the lead group. Now you can see we've actually dropped back quite a bit, so we need to get past P9 as soon as possible. So as we come down this straight here, he actually goes to the right hand side of the track. Now I thought he might be letting us through here because obviously with the slipstream you wouldn't really do that, but it looks like he was just trying to hold the inside line. He actually understeers into the side of our car, nudges us wide a little bit there. That loses us a little bit more time. Don't think it was deliberate, just a mistake I think, where he's gone a little bit deep into the corner. And now we're going to power our way, see if we can get the slipstream and see if we can go for a move on him at some point. We need to try and get past him so we can try and catch that other group of cars up. So through here, nice and smooth. And can we do one of them sensors? He gets dirty tyres, and I knew he'd have dirty tyres there, so we go tight to the apex, and we've managed to make that move quite easily up into P9. So now let's see if we can get in amongst this group of drivers up ahead and see what chaos brews up. You can see one driver's got a corner cut penalty there for track limits, so he's going to lose a bit of time on the next lap because he won't have to do it this lap. Just trying to get in the slipstream now of Dimitro, is it, in front of us there, as we come through this long right corner again, carrying a bit too much speed into the initial part, but we managed to keep it above 90 miles per hour, so not too bad through there. And now we're going to just see and wait for any opportunities, because with this group going off in front of us, we're not really going to be able to fight for the lead. You can see the lead group have got away, but let's see if we can fight for a top 5 or something like that from here. So into the braking zone, trying to keep it nice and smooth. We're not going to be able to go for a move here. The French driver in front of us, we're side by side with him. He squeezes us a bit there, we back out of that. He goes through there nice and clean, no issues there. We're all through that safely. And we've got the driver in front of us there with the penalty. Are we able to get ahead of him? Let's just see. We're going to use the slipstream, see if we can go around the outside of him. And we've managed to do that as the Dimitri goes wide through there. We managed to take advantage of that up on the inside and gain 2 positions. So up to P7 in this race. So not too bad considering we lost quite a bit of time at the start of the race. But we're starting to make a bit of progress now. Right behind P6. Can we find a way into the top 6 in this race? So again, into the braking zone, braking just before the start of the curb on the left-hand side there. That is your braking reference. I always use the curb. And the French driver just pushes us there, pushes us out of the way, pushes us wide, and then pushes us again, then pushes P6 out of the way, goes across the grass, kills P6. Pretty bad driving. We go down the right hand side. Now he tries to push us into the wall here, so he nearly ends up taking himself out because I obviously turned left as soon as I see him trying to push me into the wall. But yeah, not very nice driving from P6, and he actually at the end of the race didn't know what he did wrong in this race. He was quite confused, which is quite strange because he tried to kill me a number of times, then actually did kill someone else, and then tried to put us in the wall. So yeah, he asked us to check the replay. I don't think we need to check the replay there, do we? let me know in the comments what you think. I don't personally think we need to check the replay, but we're going to go for a move here, up the inside. We take that position, and luckily for us, he loses another position where he's gone wide. So thankfully, we've got rid of him behind us, and he's not going to be causing us any hassle for the next lap or so. So yeah, now let's see if we can do much. We're in P6. You can see that group ahead are quite far away. They are battling a little bit, but we've only got 2 laps to go, and as you can tell, this is a very short lap, so it's going to be very difficult to do much about them. So as we come through here, we've got the Spanish driver, sorry, not Spanish driver, the German driver having a little look on the inside there, and he's not going to be able to go for a move. And we've got a driver there straight into the wall. I don't know what's happened there, but a very unusual accident. So he's out of the battle there. So we're up to P5. We're not going to be able to catch this group up. And as we come through here, he tries to squeeze up the inside there. That's not going to work. We're obviously on the trying to keep the inside as well. And yeah, he runs a little bit wide on the exit. So we managed to keep that P5 position through there, and now we're going to go into the final corner, and let's see if he's going to go for a dive into this corner. Now obviously we're going to be very aware that he could send one up the inside here, so braking as late as we can down to second gear. We managed to brake quite late and hold an apex reasonably well onto power nice and early, and yeah, we're going to go over the line for a solid P5 from the back of the grid. Some dirty driving in there, a lot of people making mistakes again. It's usual for Mondays. I think by the end of the week, this race is going to be brilliant. So make sure you give it a try. I always enjoy this race. Every time it's on, it's always a lot of fun. So next we have my favourite track on the game. No, it's not. It's probably my most hated track on Gran Turismo. It is Dragon Trail Gardens in reverse in Group 4. Yes, it's a nightmare. Now, I set a reasonably okay lap time in the time trial straight away. Not a particularly great one, but well enough to put us in P1. And I started the first race that I tried in the lead and started to pull away from driving, and I was like, what the hell is going on? We're actually winning a race, we're doing okay here. But as we come through the final corner, we got a weird bit of understeer off that curb. We run wide, we try and save it, hit the curb funny, try and stop ourselves hitting that the metal railing on the left there, which would have stopped us dead, and unfortunately we bottle jobbed it. So yeah, as usual, we bottle job at Dragon Trail Gardens. However, we did decide to go again because I was like, we need to get a good result here. We can't take that. We have to go again. So starting from P2 this time and see what we can do. The Subaru, I think, is the best car for this track. I think it's the strongest car because it's got better straight line speed than the Megane. Also, it's so good over curbs. However, he's just run really wide there. So as we go to the right hand side here, he tries to, I don't know if he tries to push us into the barrier, but I actually pushed him back because he was pushing me into the barrier there. So yeah, maybe he should be a bit more aware of his space through there. But yeah, we nearly got squeezed into the barrier. Luckily, we made sure we turned left and give him a little nudge to let him know that we're actually there. So we're up into P1 in this race. Good start to the race. But the Subaru is, like I say, the stronger car here, I feel, because the Megane's probably fast here, but I feel like the Subaru is so stable on the curbs. It can actually cut the curbs at the end of the lap, which I will not do in this car in the Megane, because I know for a fact it will probably bounce me over the curb and I'll lose a lot of time. He goes for a bit of a half-hearted lunge there into the braking zone, doesn't quite make that, and we're going to keep that position in P1. So now into the final sector there, braking on the 100 board, and again, this is a sector where you can see the Subaru, he bounces over the curbs and the car just doesn't get affected by it, and this is why I think the Subaru is the safest bet for this track, because the four-wheel drive is going to be ultra smooth. The Evo will probably be okay, and again through here, I don't know why. I think he thought he was going to go for a move there, but there was no way he was getting up the inside there. We had that line, and again we've got the line here. We're ahead of him, so we defend that, and yeah, we're now going into the next braking zone. You can see he's going to try and push us to the right. We're going to go back to the left, and then just try and make sure we get a solid exit. So keep the car nice and tight through here, and then into third gear and keep the car on the track. Quite nice through there. We actually defended that quite well. Now as we come through here, he's on the right hand side, we've got the inside line, and this, I don't know, this was a little bit aggressive. I feel it was an alright move, but he just basically pushes us out the way. So he rams into the side, pushes us wide there, car behind hits us as well. Not the cleanest move, but it's not really a place I would go for an overtake there, but no harm done. We're still in P2, so try and keep behind him now for as long as possible. We know that my pace here is absolutely awful. This is my weakest track on the game. I have literally got no pace at all, so the fact that we're still in a podium position is actually a miracle, to be brutally honest. So trying to get it down to second gear on the power as early as can, and now we just got to try and hold on to P2. This would be a great result for me if we can hold on to P2, because I'm very weak at this track. It's, like I say, not a very good track for me. But yeah, as we come down this straight, you can see this is where the Megane has a problem. As I brake here, I brake a little bit too early and we turn in a little bit too well. And we actually clipped that corner reasonably okay. Through there reasonably okay. We actually did okay that lap. I think it's the next lap we make a mistake. I was expecting to hit the sausage curb. So yeah, it must have been the next lap. This lap seems like we did that alright. But we lost a bit of time on this lap with the long flowing left-hand corner where we kind of got barged out the way a little bit. But now we're just going to try and follow the slipstream into the braking zone, braking just before the 100 board on the left-hand side. You can brake very late in the Megane. That is one good thing about the car. And again, it rotates really well through this part of the track. So the Megane quite strong there. You can see the Subaru does struggle a little bit with the rotation. But again, the Subaru is so good on the traction zones and over curbs. I think that is the car to go around here. So through here, again, doing this quite well, using the full width of the track. And for some reason, in the Megane, I can seem to be reasonably okay at this corner. When it was in the Cayman, I could not do that corner at all. But in the Megane, it suits me a little bit better. So again, through here, trying to keep the car as smooth to the apex as possible, on the throttle as early as we can, and then try and get the car over to the left and stop yourself running too far wide there, and keep that power flat down all the way through this section. So again, look, having a little look on the braking zone there. We're not going to send it there. We're far too far behind. But we're getting closer there as we work our way up the straight now. And yeah, this is where the Megane, like cars like the Megane, tend to be a little bit more unstable if you hit the curb funny. So as we come up here, we're going to brake a little bit too early. You can see I should have braked pretty much on or just past 100 board. I brake a little bit too early. We get too much rotation. We hit that sausage curb, all funny. That puts us out of shape. And just look how much time that actually loses us, from like 3 tenths behind him to 8 tenths instantly. So half a second gone straight away. And that is all down to making one little error on that sausage curb. So now we've just got to try and hold on to P2 as we run a little bit wide there. So we're going to go to the right hand side of the track because we're going to probably have to go defensive against the Subaru because it is a bit faster down the straight. He's going to go to the left. We're going to brake as late as possible, get the car over to the middle of the track, down to second gear, try and get the car rotated as fast as we can. He's got the inside there, but we've just about kept it on the curb. He gives us just enough space as we bring the car back on the track, and we've just about managed to hold on to P2. So now we're going to come into the really long left-hand corner, which again, for some reason, in the Megane, I seem to be reasonably okay at. Again, carrying reasonable speed through here, down to third gear, getting it into the apex, and it's probably because the Megane rotates quite well that I prefer it in this car. So working our way up the hill, now into the braking zone, braking just past that board over our head there, keeping the car tight to the apex, and powering your way through. And if you have a little look, he went for a bit of a weird optimistic move there. It's not really a place it's going to work because that's a flat out corner. So unfortunately, yeah, I was never going to give that one up. You've got to keep it tight to the apex through there as well, going flat out. So yeah, he didn't really have the car alongside. It was just basically the front end of the car next to the rear, and I think that was fair. I think most people would have held the line that we did through there and work our way to see if we can hold the car on the track for the final chicane. Now this is a part of the track that I really don't like. So this time we're really cautious. We're not going to take any risks this time, keeping it nice and smooth, not taking any risks on the curbs, and we managed to do that reasonably well. And it looks like we're going to hold on for a P2 in a track that I absolutely hate. So yeah, pretty happy with this P2 considering that we really don't like this track. Yeah, happy days. We managed to get a P2 from a track that we normally don't even finish because it's that awful. But yeah, we probably won't be doing too much of that this week. We might do the odd race every now and then just for a bit of a laugh while streaming. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section what race you're going to be doing, what track you enjoy the most. Are you going to be trying to learn Daily Race C? That is the one that I'm probably going to try and figure out this week. I like the flow of it. I think it's going to give some good racing. There is no strategy in it, obviously. It's a completely flat out no-stop race, but I still think it might be entertaining. Anyway, let me know in the comment section. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for more live streams and videos very soon. Thanks again, bye.